Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos about hand stitching, hand sewing, English paper piecing, that type of thing. But today's video is a little bit different in the fact that I am trying free motion quilting for the first time. Now you might remember this wall hanging that I started before Christmas. I only just finished it before sort of December time, and I wanted to put up some Christmas wall hangings that I'd quilted, so I didn't get the chance to finish this off or actually hang it on the wall. But I felt that it's a really nice spring project and I thought it'd be great to inject a little bit of colour at the moment. And as you can see from behind me here, I've been curating and creating a sort of patchwork and quilting themed gallery wall. You may have watched my previous video, which was creating the Liberty lamp from scraps, and if you also follow me over on TikTok, you'll have seen me talking about creating a bit of a gallery wall. And this wall hanging is essentially going to be the centre here. You can see where I've stuck some paper over the top, so I know exactly where it's going to go and the rough size. And what I thought I would also do is create some seasonally, so I'll probably leave this one up till maybe August time, and then I'll do a autumn one, and then I'll put my Christmas one back up. But if you would like to see a video in more detail showing you and telling you about all the bits and pieces that I've curated for this wall, do let me know, and perhaps I'll do that as a sort of midweek extra video. So anyway, enough of the rambling, let's get into the quilting. So this is the sewing machine that I have. It's a Husqvarna Viking Topaz, I think. And on my machine, I just went into the menu and pressed 3M floating. And I turned that on, and it just meant that the presser foot didn't go all the way down. I decided just to do some practices on some scrap fabric. And believe it or not, I forgot how to spell Rachel. I don't know what that's all about. I later realised that I didn't actually put the feet dogs down at the bottom of the machine, so I don't know if that impacted how easy or hard it was to do the free motion, but I can't say I noticed. So once I felt like I'd had enough practice, I decided to base the actual mini quilt itself, and I've just used cotton and polyester wadding an 80-20 mix, and I decided to spray baste it just so there wasn't any pins that got in the way. The spray that I use is a temporary spray adhesive, but it's by a company called Madeira rather than the 505 spray. I just purchased this through my business, so it is slightly cheaper for me than the 505 spray. Now I'm not sure if this is the way that you would typically do free motion quilting, but I decided to draw on the lines that I wanted to quilt around, just because I didn't trust myself to follow even just the outline of the pattern of the quilt. So I used a friction heat erasable pen, and I generally use this pen quite often, so I don't have any worries about the ink marks coming back. So I decided to do 2 lines sort of shadowing the design of the quilt, and here I am. I was quite nervous actually doing it on the actual quilt, but I did get the hang of it in the end. But don't get me wrong, there are some areas of quilting that are a little bit wobbly. Don't know if that's got anything to do with the feet dogs being up, but we'll see on the next attempt that I make. So I was quite happy with those lines, and I thought, let me see how easily they actually iron off. And I'm not actually pressing the body of the iron against the quilt, I'm sort of using the tip and the side of the iron. And I thought, well, I want to actually fill the whole quilt now, so I again did some additional lines and did all around the clamshells. I wasn't sure at first if I wanted to quilt around the clamshells, mainly because I was nervous about getting the curves right, so I left them till the end until I built up a little bit of confidence in my abilities doing the free motion. And then once that had done, I thought I'll do a scrappy binding with all the leftover fabric that is from this project. Now I originally used a Liberty Fat 1/8 bundle that I bought from the Bramble Patch, and I'm so impressed at how far I've managed to stretch this bundle. I've still probably got around 1/3 of the fabric left, and this is the second project that I've managed to do with it, just because I've used it in small quantities and made it stretch with other fabrics from my stash, so I'm quite happy with that. because it can be quite an investment, can't it, buying the bundles of fabric. So I was very happy. So here's my binding in situ, and I just generally trim my quilts with scissors rather than using a rotary cutter. And I do like a full binding, so I generally try and leave a bit over 1/4 inch of the edge left so that the binding's nice and full. And look at that mitered corner and the join of the scrappy binding as well. I don't think I could repeat that perfectly if I tried. I think hand stitching binding is just my favourite part of the quilt. It's really relaxing, a nice simple and easy stitch, but also it just marks the end of the project and the start of the next one. So here it is, a finished look at the wall hanging. I really like it, and I'm pleased with how it turned out for my first attempt at free motion quilting. Don't get me wrong, there's a few bits that I would improve on, but overall you can't be too hard on yourself, can you? So I really hope that you've enjoyed watching me create this. You've probably already seen some footage of me attaching the binding, but I thought it's about 3 o'clock now, and I thought let me just film my little outro bit and I'll stitch the binding on after it's gotten dark. So yeah, I am really pleased with how that quilting looks. It just echoes it really nicely. And ordinarily I think I probably would have done something very similar with hand quilting, because that's what I usually like to do. But it is interesting for me to first of all feel the difference in this quilt compared to some of the more hand-pieced ones that I do, and it does definitely feel much stiffer. I think that's what everyone says about hand quilting, that it creates a really soft and squishy effect. And obviously the quilting on this is quite dense, but not super dense, not as dense as I've seen some, but it's certainly a bit more dense than what I would do on the hand quilting. But it's just interesting to see the difference, isn't it? But for this project I had the need for speed because I wanted to get this wall behind me finished, just because I was sick of looking at all these paper pieces, because the square that you can see where this is going, I had squares for all the frames just on there in wrapping paper. So here is the wall just in brief. Like I said at the beginning, if you do want to see this in more detail, do just let me know. But also, if you have any suggestions on what else I can make, sort of little fillers, I'm thinking maybe some type of garland, or like maybe a stuffed heart, because here, that far there, that was going to be a heart that was like a tin, and I was going to put that on the wall, but I just can't get it to work how I want. So what I'm thinking is, I've still got my box of curated fat quarters from the Sewers Club. So I'm thinking these colours are really nice and springy, vibrant, and would be really good for summer. I love this print, and I also love that one. So I'm thinking I might make something with this lovely box, because if you don't know, over at the Sewers Club, what they do is they curate a bundle of either fat quarters or half yards for you, and you can choose how often you want them. I do have a discount code that's down in the description that will give you 30% off your first box, so it is super good. And as you can see, it's such a lovely surprise to get fat quarters, and you can tell them what you like, what you don't like, so you don't get any surprises. I think I said that I didn't want batiks. I might have put that I didn't want metallics or shimmers, but yeah, beautiful. So if you have any suggestions on little bits of trinkets that I can make for this whole little section, obviously I've got the shelf above the radiator as well, do leave me a comment down below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and do subscribe if you haven't already, because it's really nice to see our numbers growing, and it also helps YouTube push my channel out to more people who might be interested. So until the next time I see or speak to you, you take care, happy crafting, and bye bye.